Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI Summer Season. We're today for the Saturday tier, the Canadian Grand Prix. We're right now in qualifying already. Sorry for the late start once again. We have currently Tommy Gunn, was in P2 just a minute ago, and they are now up into P1 just ahead of Finn, Ballant, and we have Wallow, Breezer, Larlock, and Mr. Walladoo, who has joined on debut. So great to see them. But yeah, we're on board right now, and across the final few corners, around the final few corners, and across the start-finish line. What time is it going to be? And it's a 10.4. So that is starting off the one-shot qualifying, and we'll go into the sprint race very, very shortly. We're just going to go and have a look at the results, and then we'll get to it. But yeah, after this one, we will expect to see some more people join later on for the race. We'll just have to see for the feature race, of course. But right now, this is going to be the grid for the sprint race. Tommy Gunn leads the way. Ballant on the medium tyre. Everybody else will start on fresh tyres. I believe whatever choice they wish to. And that's all the details we need. And we'll be back for the sprint race. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI Summer Season. We're today for the Saturday tier, the Canadian Grand Prix. This is going to be the final ever event in the F1 2021 game. Championship-wise, of course. I think we'll probably be going for a bit of an open lobby stream on Tuesday. But anyway, onto the grid right now. We have Tommy Gunn lining on pole position, followed by Ballant in P2 on the medium tyre, of course. And then we do see Wallow in P3, Finn in P4, then we have Larlock in P5 for Alpine, so they're going to look for some good points here, especially in the sprint race. They can get a nice jump on the drivers around them. Ideally for them, of course, they do finish ahead of Ballant and Breezer in the championship, or today for the championship. Then we have Breezer, of course, in P6, and then Waldo in P7. We're probably going to get some more people later on for the feature race, but right now, this is going to be the grid. And we still had a pretty good race yesterday with this side grid, so we'll have a go. But yeah, other than that, hold your breath, clench your butt cheeks, we're about to go racing. Lights out and away we go to drive through for Mr. Waldo. Not a great start to him, and he's lifted off as well, so it's not even a benefit. And that's very, very tight between the two horses, and they bounced into one another. And there must be damage further behind as well. I think Breezer might have get tangled up in that one. He might have got away with it, but I don't think he did. And that's the two horses coming together. That is not ideal at all, and it looks like, was that Ballant into the wall as well? That was a nasty crash for them, so they must have been, I don't know if that was just a mistake or taken to the shadow realm by another driver, I'm not sure. That was an interesting start. Tommy Gunn has benefited from that one massively. Finn manages... I don't think he's got damage, but he's definitely given his teammates some sort of damage. But that is Larlock making the move. And then we have a Breezer right behind. So Breezer's either taking caution or they do have a problem with the car. And they're going to have to go and make a quick pit stop, which is not what we want to see at all. Unfortunately, that's just how it's gone so far. Now, we'll watch on board and see what they do. Do they go to the pit lane? Do they stay out? They do go to the pit lane, unfortunately, and Wallow follows them in. Tommy Gunn goes for a fastest lap, so doing a nice job. Mr. Waldo, of course, pitting as well after their issues at the start. And then we have Balint. I don't know what happened to Balint. They crashed, I think it was Balint crashing there yesterday. A pretty interesting place to crash, but if you're going side by side, I guess it's not too easy to get through, especially in the start phase of the Grand Prix. Tommy Gunn now leads the way by almost 3 seconds. Finn in P2 in the Haas, looking for some good points. And Larlock, he's now got a nice breathing space, or a nice gap between himself and the rest of the cars in the championship. Of course, Balance pretty high up there. Breezer also pretty high up there. I think Balance P2. Breezer was P5 or 4. If I remember correctly. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's the grid right now. And Tommy leads the way. Finn just got to hold off Larlock here. Larlock wants to get through sooner rather than later. Are they going to try and go for it before the DRS kicks in, or are they going to try and go for it after the DRS kicks in? And also, we don't know what the weather conditions are like, so it's going to be a bit mixed here. We could see some very interesting strategies, and we won't quite know what the idea behind them is until, of course, we see a weather change, but we'll have to wait and see. Alrighty. Bit of a mistake there for Larlock as he has to try and react to Finn. Finn isn't really going to be able to fight it. They're on the inside line, but they've backed off to allow Larlock to go through, but Larlock's made a mistake. Finn might actually be able to fight this back if he really wanted to, but I'm not sure. He might be having to just let this one go for now. We'll have to wait and see. These are also just recently passed Wallow. They got through, making those recent pit stops on the hard tyre for the Czech driver. And then we have Wallow on the medium tyre, interestingly. So he's going to hope for a safety car or just go for the double stop. And then Balance on the hard tyre and Waldo also on the medium tyre. So we've got a bit of a mixed strategy situation going on. But Breezer isn't intending on pitting again. It might just be a little bit tricky. Tommy Gunn knows leading this light nicely. The benefit that Breezer might have, although the pit lane is about 16 seconds, so obviously it's a lot more than he really wanted. The benefit that he might have is if he can catch in this situation, he's got a lot of clear air ahead of him. His teammate has to pit at least once, and maybe twice. That's if they don't try and extend these tyres, or if they try and go onto the... or don't go onto the hards, I should say. So they're still going to have to make 2 pit stops. Breeze is going to be quick. Not going to have to make a pit stop, despite Tommy being quick, but I don't know. He still could get an advantage here. The one stop does have its benefits. It can protect you from safety cars, because you don't drop all those positions and all of a sudden get screwed over by a safety car. And it also protects you from traffic. There's not really going to be much traffic with 7 cars on the track right now, but you never know, it might change a little bit later on. Wallow actually close, very, very close to the back of Breezer, and he's running out a bit of ERS, I think. Was that Breezer or Wallow? I believe it's... oh, okay, Breezer, indeed. Wallow's got a fair bit in his tank, and he's going to go for the move on the inside. And he gets it done. A bit of a squeeze. Has to make the correction, but Wallow gets through. That's him up to P4. And I mean, I'd like to see the replay on that, but I think from my first judgments, that was just about fair. It was a bit of a squeeze, but I don't know. I'd have to look at the replay. I didn't quite get the best look at it I possibly could. Ballant, unfortunately, into the pit lane again, so they're onto the medium tyre this time. Either they've made a mistake, or they're just not happy with the white wall tyre. Now, we'll have a look at the data here. Position changes, 3 positions gained by Larlick, and that's Finn into the pit lane already. So, what's Finn doing here? That's a wing change, isn't it? That is a wing change, unfortunately. So, a little bit of an issue there for the Englishman, but he'll get back on his way and carry on. Pit stops are as such. Now, only the top 2 haven't made pit stops. 2 pit stops for Ballant, and then no time penalties for anybody. So we'll just look at the tyre situation, and watching on board with Finn, he does jump his teammate just about, gets ahead, and Waller, of course, Breezer not able to do anything about it. Breezer on those hard tyres, and that's Finn through. Lovely, lovely stuff indeed for Finn. He did all he needed to do there. Despite the damage, he probably would have rather he didn't get that, but it's not the worst situation to be in at all. Now, it really depends. How's this going to work out? Because, well, they seem to have a lot of ERS in hand, and he got DRS just then off his teammate. Bit of a wobble, but not anything to worry about too much. They might have even just got DRS here, which is going to make it even more difficult for Breezer to get back through. Breezer wants to get through as soon as he can, and I don't know where the pace difference will change on tyre-wise, tyre wear-wise. It could be lap 8, it could be lap 12, maybe. I don't quite know. I really don't know how fast the hards are here. I do know I'd hate to drive on them. With a circuit like this, you've got to stay so alert and so far away from the walls. These could really chuck you around. They're going to give you very little grip. But we'll see. Breezer 7 tenths behind now. Not really able to do anything about it so far. And that's unfortunately Finn making a bit of a mistake. Leading the pack though. It's got a nice little shindig going on here. Breezer's got a bit of a headache in his hands in the DRS train here. So he can't actually make his way through. He does want to make a move at this stage of the Grand Prix. He's going to have to save a little bit of ERS. As we saw earlier on, his light was flashing. So he had used everything he possibly could on that lap to keep Waller behind. It just wasn't enough. And almost 9 tenths there. We've reached 9 tenths, almost a second. I don't think we're going to get it at the end of the straight, but we might get it on the next lap if he's not careful. 2 horses are doing a decent job of working together here and getting a little bit of a tow on. Hey Grajak, how you doing? Hope you're well. Alrighty. Just waiting with these guys. I am interested to see how Breezer's strategy is going to work, how far up the grid it will take him. Right now, though, it does look like Tommy Gunn has a decent margin. As long as he doesn't speed into the pit lane and gets himself a 5-second time penalty, he's quite far ahead. Time penalty-wise, they might come into play later on. It's a very tricky circuit to get right, so I wouldn't be surprised as we actually see it as I'm talking about that Larlick gone to get a 5-second time penalty, unfortunately. Don't get a wing change, but they've gone for the 2-stop, it seems. Either a weather condition situation or it is a 2-stop. And once again, get this, I am being very, very dumb. It is a sprint race, so there's only 1 stop. I don't know what I'm saying. He'd be pitting around lap 9 if he wanted to do a 2-stop in a feature race and a 50% race. But he's just going to be going to the end of the race on these tyres, and that'll be that. Now, Tommy Gunn has got a bit more of an advantage here because Larlick's got that 5-second, so Tommy doesn't need to rush into the pit lane. He doesn't need to worry about that. There's a 21-second gap, and I said that the pit lane difference is about 16 to 17 seconds. So Tommy Gunn has actually got a very, very nice margin. And he doesn't need to push. He could even extend if he really wanted to. Not sure if that would be the best idea. But he doesn't need to risk speeding into the pit lane. He doesn't do so anyway. And he's on his way. We'll do on debut, just leaving the pit lane as Tommy Gunn enters. Put our set of softs on. He's going to try and go to the end of the race, I guess, on these tyres. See what lap times he can set. Tommy Gunn leaving his, the pit lane on the medium tyre. You can see Larlet coming out, but Tommy Gunn's going to be way too far ahead. Just gone off his camera right there. So you can see he's got kind of a bit of an undercut there, Larlet, but wasn't really anything mega as Tommy does react. So this early on, with a pitting for these tyres, the undercut's just not really going to work too much around this circuit. But if you do have the advantage on tyres, you are going to have superior pace. Looking back with these guys now, Breezer is right behind Waller as Finn's made a pit stop onto the medium tyre. He's taking priorities out of the two Haas drivers. Maybe we'll see him jump ahead of these guys, but Waller is in P3. Promoted as his teammates. Dropped behind. Breezer needs to get through here. This is his chance. Of course, he's not going to be making a pit stop, so Finn, in theory, has to make those 23 seconds on Breezer. And Breezer's going to want to try and get through sooner rather than later, using a little bit of ERS. DRS available right now. He stops the ERS usage, and he's going to be aiming for a move into turn one, I'm sure. Wallow's just going to have to try and secure a good exit here, unless he's going to go into the pit lane. No, he stays out. And Breezer on the DRS, on the ERS. Wallow's run out, and that is the Alfa Romeo through. The Haas can't do anything about it. The tyres are a little bit worn out maybe now, and Breezer's got the pace advantage. It's switched. He's through. Can he hold on to DRS and get a bit of an advantage? Maybe it would help him stay with his teammate when he pits. I don't quite know. But it's going to be very difficult to get ahead of Breezer. So I think that pit stop might have just solidified the top three there. Wallow can still get through here, but he still has to make another pit stop. And Finn to make a 23-second gap in under half the race. It's just not going to be a very easy thing to do. You'd have to hope that Breezer makes another pit stop, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. Wallow's right there. He's got the DRS, no ERS to use. Is he going to dive straight into the pit lane, or is he going to stay out in the tow? Maybe even fight Breezer a little bit more. He's going to stay out in the tow. Bit of a tap on the wall. Hopefully that wasn't damaged. Didn't look ideal. Breezer also out of ERS now, so in theory Wallow has the advantage, but he didn't get a good enough run, so it's not going to be a move anyway. Just going to have to wait and try and not make that mistake again, but could be a difficult situation he's putting himself in. As long as he doesn't hit that wall any harder than he has and any more times than he has, he should be okay. Very tricky circuit here. It is a bit of a hybrid circuit. As you can see, a little bit more of a wall tap there. They're very, very close by. It's kind of a race circuit. It is a street circuit really as well in certain sections of the circuit. It's a bit of a mix. Into the hairpin we go. And Wallow's very, very close right here. Penalty for Larlet, so that is now a 8-second time penalty. That could be very, very good for Breezer here. Wallow's closed up, still staying out in the circuit. Cuts the corner a little bit too aggressively. Doesn't quite get the car rotated for the final corner and has to lift off to avoid touching that wall there. So once again, not an ideal situation to be in, but he still has a bit of a pit lane buffer between himself and his teammate, and he can still carry on. He's just got himself a time penalty, unfortunately, so that does mean they're equal with their teammate. Have to wait and see. Let's have a look at those time penalties. I mean, it's 6 seconds for Wilder, unfortunately, none for Ballard, 3 Finn and Wallow, and none for Breeza and Tommy, and then Larlick as an 8-second time penalty. So if Breeza does get within an 8-second range of Larlick, which is possible, but it's probably not going to be very likely with the tyre situation they're in, Breeza could take a P2. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, there may be some little unexpected moments that we'll figure out later on in the race. Wallow behind, lifts off the throttle, goes into the pit lane, and there you go. Easy done. Now, what tyres are you going to go for? Softs it is. Easy choice. Where's he going to come out relative to his teammate, though? That is the question. Here we go, round the final corner. DRS isn't available for Finn. He's using all the ERS he possibly can. He can see his teammate to the left-hand side there. And he's jumped him by quite a margin. So that DRS has helped him. Even with those old tyres, Finn hasn't been able to keep with him. I don't know if Finn had to serve a new front wing change. But in theory, Finn should have had the jump on him with those fresh tyres. It's not worked out, and Wallow is ahead on the softs. Very, very good job indeed. These guys, of course, made the pit stops already. So in theory, Wallow could have carried on, right? Because he started on the softs. Big moment there for Finn. Just needs to keep it focused, and he'll go home and take a P5. And that'll put him in P5 for the feature race. 4 points for the sprint race as well. As long as you finish this Grand Prix, you will take home 2 points to your championship. That will be 2 points for 7th place, of course 1 point for 8th place. And you can also get a fastest lap if you're in the top 10. So points are available for everyone right now. And as there's only 1 point difference in each position. Oh no, there's a big crash there. Waldo's out. That's nasty, nasty, nasty. Round turn 5, lost the rear. And that brings out a full safety car. Terrible, terrible news for Larlick now with the 8-second time penalty. He can still serve a 5-second here, but that is not ideal. Tommy is now going to get a full advantage of going to the pit lane if he wants to. No, we're not going to be under the safety car conditions for too long. So Larlick's going to go take the advantage, and I would as well, because he's got to serve that 5 seconds. He could also get on some fresh tyres here. Is Breeza going to take the pit stop here? I don't quite know. Tommy's obviously opted to stay out. Breeza might end up staying out as well. They've got no time penalties. They'd gain track position. Nope, they're going to go into the pit lane. They'd rather those fresh tyres. Yeah, Wallow would not be pitting. He will not need to pit at least. Finn, is he going to be pitting? Ballant will be able to catch up to the grid. So this is good stuff. Well, he's quite far behind, but he's stayed out ahead of Wallow just about. Wallow stays out as expected. So does Finn, interestingly. So Finn didn't want to wait around. Ballant isn't waiting around either, so they're all going to carry on. Safety car already in this lap. That's maybe why, huh? That is maybe why. Now, Breeza still does have the opportunity here to catch up to Larlick. That's if Larlick could slow down enough. If Tommy Gunn was a good teammate, he would slow down and prevent Larlick from getting a good run. We'll have to wait and see. Awesome, Zingy. I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you soon. Have a good one. Spaniard. Anyway, Breeza, is he going to get an advantage here on Larlick? They've already gone for it, actually. Never mind. They've already gone for it. And look at that gap that he's got on Tommy, on Larlick already, I should say. A 2.5 second gap, and they've not even really started the safety car restart. Nobody else caught up except from Tommy. So that has a huge advantage there. And a couple of drivers figured that out, but it just wasn't enough, unfortunately. Very, very smart play It did unfortunately prevent him from helping his teammate out here, but it's still not the worst situation. He's got a very, very nice lead on him, and he could focus on a win. It wouldn't be his first. He's won many times in EU2, but it would be a very, very nice victory for sure. It'd be his first in the summer season as well to match his teammate today, as you can see. Now, Tommy will come around the final corner, and he will lead on the final lap. Laluk is catching, got those soft tyres, but Laluk is just going to suffer with that time penalty, even if he gets it taken away later on and passes Laluk. He'll only get 1 point, but position-wise, Tommy Gunn will receive that pole position. It doesn't matter if you get time penalties removed after the race or not. You're going to finish wherever you finish for the sprint race. Or you're going to start wherever you finish for the sprint race. That would be deciding your grid for the feature. I'm completely waffling, and I think this is probably going to be the entire grid, honestly. I think that's going to be it. Tommy Gunn has commanded this race from the beginning. Lovely stuff indeed. Kept out of trouble into turn 1, and he was not really ever seen again. And then we have Laluk, of course, getting through it all. He was able to bump himself up to P2. He's closed up in the final stages. DRS isn't going to be available on the final lap, so it's not going to really give him the advantage anyway. But it was a good effort for sure. And then we have Breezer, obviously, in P3. But Tommy Gunn's going to come around the final few corners, and he's going to do it for the first time in the summer season. Tommy Gunn wins the Canadian Grand Prix. Well done indeed. Laluk in P2 in the end. And then we have Breezer taking home that podium position. That's some decent points in the end after a very, very interesting start, if you would say the least. And then we have Wallow in P4, followed by his fellow teammate in P5. Then we have Ballant finishing off the grid at P6. Still some good points there. And unfortunately, Waldo not finishing the Grand Prix. Did they complete enough laps to score points? We'll have to wait and see. Indeed, Zingy, indeed. I like the metaphor. Alrighty. Tommy Gunn takes the win. Laluk P2, Breezer in P3 with the fastest lap as well, so he equals points with Laluk, gets another 7 as well. And unfortunately, Waldo didn't finish enough of the Grand Prix, and they won't score any points, so they're going to have to try and score them in the feature race here. Of course, top 10 does score points in that one, with the LSI point system, 20, 16, 14, 12, 10, and so on. But yeah, other than that, we'll see you in a bit for the feature race. Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI Summer Season. We're today for the Saturday tier Canadian Grand Prix. There you go, just about got it out. And currently on pole position is Tommy. Did a very, very good job in the sprint race and didn't really make any mistakes from what we saw. So that does give him a lot of confidence going into this race, of course. We do unfortunately, unless you say fortunately, have intermediate conditions. Personally, I don't mind intermediate conditions. The wet conditions are what the problem is. Yes. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes for sure. Maybe we'll get dry conditions later on. It's very, very lightly raining right now. But only time will tell if it changes. Tommy Gunn, of course, lines up on pole position. We have Larlick in P2. And Breezer in P3. Followed by Wallow in P4. Then we have Balak in the Aston in P5. We have Finn Waldo in P7, or Waldo. And then we have Reese starting at the back. They didn't manage to get it to the sprint race in time. But, you know, this is where the points count. And it's good to see them. So, yeah. Let's get it, shall we? Final few corners on the formation lap. And then we'll be getting ready for the Canadian Grand Prix. And racing, this is for, and I will say it, the final time ever championship-wise in the F1 2021 game. Thank you very much, F1 2021, for bringing us some good memories despite the bad ones. Hold your breath and clench your butt cheeks, we're about to go racing. Lights out and away we go down to turn one. Who's gonna get it? Looks like a fairly good start from the Alpha, but it's very, very equal, and Larlick's gonna get the better traction in the end. And the two teammates go side by side, just about leaving enough space for each other. Further back here, we've got the two Haas's once again very close to one another. Oh no! Oh, that's a big mistake, and he's managed to save it. That's the Haas at the back there. I don't know which one. It was Finn. What a save indeed. I was gonna say, Ballant was just trying to stay out of trouble like they did last time. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them, but this time it's worked nicely. Wallow stays ahead. He gets the better of the two Haas drivers, and Tommy's down. Tommy's down, makes another mistake. And he's not having a good start to this Grand Prix. Lost the lead to Larlick and also to his teammate and Wallow now. So he's all the way down to 4th place from the start. And we haven't even finished lap 1 there. Reese, unfortunately, having an issue. Hopefully they can get back in this one. Do they have damage after that? I don't know. Doesn't look like it. So they could carry on, but the interconditions are not the best in the world, are they? Larlick leads the way now, so it's not an unfamiliar thing for him. He's done this many times in the past. This Breeze is going to be right there. He's just been very, very quick recently. He's had some laps in yesterday, a lot of practice, a big tail whip there for Larlick, but he holds it nicely, so it's all good. But Breeze is going to be right there. He's going to want to get through sooner rather than later. No DRS, of course, will be available in the wet conditions, so it is just about going for any possible opportunity. And with the ERS, everybody's saving so much of it by lifting in the tricky conditions that you don't really run out of it that easily. So it is just about not making mistakes and trying to get that outright pace of your competitors. Larlick's currently doing a very good job at it. He's very, very on the limit with the tyres, but he's doing a good job somewhat. And Reese, unfortunately, makes I had to go to the pit lane after that mistake. They did get a bit of damage, but they're back on track, and hopefully they can get back in a bit of a groove. So that being said, with the pit lane, I was saying it's about 16 seconds. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it is a longer pit lane. I think he has had a front wing change. But we saw about 20 to 22 seconds so far, which is interesting. I thought it would be a lot less than that. Maybe it's 18, I don't quite know. We'll have to wait and see. But Breezer just sitting here now, time to get a bit comfortable. We've still got a long way to go in this Grand Prix. And if it is going to be Inters all the way to the end, they need to get comfortable They need to not make mistakes, and they need to allow the cars around them to fall apart. Now, Larlet's gone for another fastest lap there. Breezer hasn't been able to match it, but he is still right behind, and it's not like he's lost much time at all, if any. They're doing a great job for the top two. They're just breaking away from the pack. Waller in P3. And Tommy Gunn has dropped back a little bit, almost in DRS range, although that doesn't really matter. He just kind of use it as a gauge to attack, but that's a big mistake, and somehow manages to keep it out the wall. Going to lose it all track position, and he's going to have to drop down to P7. That was another big mistake there from Tommy, but he's managed to keep it together. So really a bit too aggressive on the throttle here, and not very happy with the rear of the car. Finn is going to benefit from this, so will Waldo, but there's a bit of a mistake there as they go into turn 10, and a bigger mistake there for Finn, and that's him into the wall. Doesn't retire from the session, but that is a front wing gone. That is not ideal at all. That is not ideal at all. No safety cars deployed, interestingly. That's right on the exit of a corner. But no, the game says no, so that is what it is. I guess it is off circuit, and it's only a front wing loss, so yeah, that's how it goes. But that is a nasty one there for Finn. Had a bit of a touch on the rear of Waldo, and maybe it just kind of distracted him a little bit on exit. That is quite possible. But Breezer, looking back to these leaders, they're doing a pretty good job so far. Oh no, and that's Lala ground! I've jinxed it! He's round! Tried to save it as best he could, but it's not going to work. He's going to be able to get back on track and carry on without any damage, but he's waiting for everybody to pass, and his tyres are going to be absolute toast. So he's going to have to cool down on these tyres for a little bit, but that was him going a little bit too hot into turn 5, losing the rear, and very easily done in the wet conditions. Breezer inherits the lead. Lovely stuff indeed. Well done to the Alfa Romeo. Just sat there waiting, putting the pressure on, not letting Lalit get away, not really pushing him too much, and he ended up making the mistake anyway. Alent's going to be into P2, and Wallo holds the P3 despite losing that place to the Aston Martin. And that is all. The AlphaTauri going for a late move, cuts the corner as he doesn't actually manage to get alongside enough, and that's a bit more of a mistake there of a touch in the rear end, once again losing the traction on the rear. So that's what we maybe saw from Finn. He did just very, very tinily touch the rear of the car ahead, and then lost the rear of his own car straight after. Rescheduled for fastest lap. He's rapid in that Mercedes, it's just he's a little bit too far back at the moment. Still, there's 35 laps remaining, or 35 laps in this Grand Prix, and we're getting towards the 30 lap zone. Currently about 30 and a half laps of this race remaining, and that is absolutely plenty of time to change everything. We could see Finn win this race. We could see Breezer DNF. We don't know. It could change very, very drastically. It's Canada for one thing, and it's in the inter conditions. That is another. And it's also Formula 1. It's league racing. That's another thing. It's very, very unpredictable. Obviously, if you are ahead, you have an advantage, but I wouldn't say it means you're going to do something. DRS is actually enabled as the circuit does dry up. So let's have a look on board. Still, we've got raindrops. Yesterday we did see a bit of a bug where the game told us DRS is enabled, but it wasn't actually available. We'll have to wait and see if it does become available, but that sign being displayed, it does show that there's a sense of drying up on the circuit. We could, in theory, get some people going for a set of slick tires. We could see some people going for, overheating on the and that's Larlet going for that undercut. Yesterday we saw this. It did work eventually, but it was a very, very risky strategy. I think that was from Gilly, if I'm right. Went very, very early to the slick tires. Got to not make that same mistake that he did, and he kind of slid through the corner So very, very tricky on these slick tyres, and they're going to get slightly worse as you get more water on them, but you can actually see the track is drying up. So it's working, and they could gain a lot from here because they're not really going to lose much time by going into the pits and spending time in the pit. They've already done it. I don't know, I'm waffling. But that is Valent into the pit lane, so he's gone for a bit more of an early pit stop compared to the race leader. Tommy Gunn, a 5-second time penalty. He's also going for that. Breezer's willing to take the gamble. Let's watch on board with the race leader and see what it's like. You can see the track is pretty dry, but it's not really mega dry. You wouldn't be willing to go out onto the slicks, really, but it might be time for slick tyres. We'll have to wait and see. The tyres will really get very, very hot on both front and rear tyres, which will give you understeer into corners and oversteer on the exit of corners. And it doesn't look too easy for Breezer right now, but we'll go through into turns 8 and 9. Very, very slow through there. So it could show that we do need to go for the slick tyres, but no way has that just happened. No way has that just happened. He leaves the session just as the pit window's here, and that is Wallow with damage, unfortunately. I don't know what happened there, but he's made a mistake, and he's going to have to make another pit stop here. Breezer is just about joined. Are they going to get into the session in time to make the pit stop, or are they going to not make it? I don't know. Their AI is going to still go into the pit lane, and now Breezer, is he going to be able to get in and choose his tyres, or is the game going to choose it for him? I don't quite know. It might choose it for him. Onto the medium tyre. Onto the medium tyre. Let's have a look relative to other people. Also on the medium tyres. It's not the worst situation to be in. Wallow made that mistake down to P3. Actually, he was on that intermediate tyre, so he's due a pit stop anyway. That does now put Valent in the lead of the Grand Prix, where Breezer has lost out. I don't know if it would have been enough if he stayed in the session, but it definitely does look like Valent got a nice undercut there. The pitting early was a pretty good decision in the end. Larlick pitted a lot earlier. After that mistake, I think they did drop behind the whole pack. Let's have a quick look in a minute. Actually now, how far away he is. Not too far behind, so I think he might have actually gained a bit of time there. Bit of a mistake there, but Reese has also had to make that pit stop, of course, 17 seconds behind. They've got raw pace on them. They just need to keep focused and get those laps in. Purple sector, as we see. He does seem to be the fastest driver on the circuit so far. Just needs to keep it together. He'll be good to go. Breezer hunting down Balin. Going to try and take the lead back. 5-second time penalty for Waldo, Tommy Gunn and Larlick all speeding into the pit lane. Reese only gets a 3-second. That must be for track limits, but everybody else behind has, ahead of him and behind who we're on board with right there, has had an issue on pit entry of the wet conditions, and that is Finn retiring on the exit of entry of turn 6. So is that a voluntary retirement, or is that a loss of the car into turn, on the exit of turn 5? He's either come around the corner and lost it on the rear by keeping a tight line, or that's a voluntary retirement into the escape lane. So that is Finn leaving the session. He will not score any points. That will bring a safety car out for everybody. Everybody's just recently pitted, so they can still consider changing their situation, but I don't know if they will do that. The benefit that Waldo and Larlick now have is they can serve their time penalty. Tommy Gunn's gone and done it, so he's reacted straight away. Drive-through penalty for Reese. Once again, being struck with drive-through penalties. He's going to have to serve that once the safety car is finished. So despite being now caught up to everybody, he's going to have to make another pit stop and once again be a whole pit stop behind the rest of the field. Waldo into the pit lane, Larlick into the pit lane. Going to put some fresh tyres on, of course. They've got to serve those 5 seconds, so it's not not the worst situation to be in. Completely lost it and spun into the wall. Easily done right here. Slippy tyres. I've done it many, many times. I think I actually as an open lobby, and I probably wiped out 5 or 6 people. Took that corner very, very tightly, and it didn't work out for me in the end. So yeah, easily done. Easily done. Yeah, it's a shame, but you had good pace at least. You had good pace in the sprint race, of course. It's just a shame it didn't go to plan in the end. You can be proud of the progression. The hards are going to be very, very difficult to warm up. I think I was struggling to warm up the mediums on the front tyres, so you have to really aggressively turn that car, so the hards are going to be very difficult as well. And I think they actually need to be hotter. I don't know. I can't quite remember what you have to do to them, but I believe they do have a higher operating range. But yeah, enough about that. I try my best. But still, like, I'm not just saying things. Genuinely, it's good progress. You've made that progress. It's not what you wanted, and it's pretty gut-wrenching when you do crash out, but you still made progress. You should be happy with that. Alrighty, looking at the grid, the safety car will probably be coming in at the end of this lap. Reese is going to have to, of course, serve that time penalty. Luckily for them, the pit lane's very, very short, so it's going to be probably less than 16 seconds. It might even be a 15 to 14 second pit stop. So I don't know if you'd count them really lucky for that, but it is a shorter pit lane than most circuits, as you can speed right in and speed right out. But we'll have to see. We'll get that confirmation for the safety car going in, and Breezer will be the one to react to Ballant going for the restart. There we go. There's the confirmation. Get ready. We're about to go racing once again for the Canadian Grand Prix. Ballant leads the way. Breezer behind. They're close in the championship, and they both need these points. Aston Martin versus Alfa Romeo. There we go. When's he going to go for it? Anytime now. Safety car into the pit lane. He can go for it early, and he has. He's caught him off guard quite a bit, but makes a mistake, and Breezer's going to get a lovely reaction. Can't overtake him until the start-finish line. Pulls out to the left-hand side. Now he's going to go for the move into turn one. Lovely, lovely move there from Breezer. Perfect stuff. He spotted the opportunity, and he's done it. Well done indeed. And that's the AlphaTauri right behind. Very, very good start from Waldo there into P3. Larlick not able to do anything about it so far. And then we have Wallow just behind them as well. Reese going straight into the pit lane. Are they able to serve it? No, they have to serve it afterwards. So I'm not sure why they went into the pit lane just then. They still have to cross the line. So they've just made an extra pit stop. I was right. It was about a 15 to 16 second gap. But now it's going to be a 30-second gap because they have to go in again. Alrighty, Waldo in P3. And they're pretty close behind Ballant here. They could get a tasty move. They might be going for an aggressive one. They're using the ERS. They're still using it. They're pushing hard. They want to go for it sooner rather than later. Ballant can defend that with his ERS. DRS, of course, isn't available yet. It will probably be available on the next lap that we get to. Probably not this lap. Fastest lap there for Breezer. Well done indeed. Yeah, probably not this lap, so it'll be on the next lap. We'll get confirmation, and on to the first straight, not the start-finish straight, the first straight. They'll then get the advantage. And that is a pen. Looking it up. I do apologise for the noise if it was into the microphone, but it wasn't a Loud, when we carry on, the conditions are a lot clearer at the moment, so lovely stuff indeed. And Balint could be under threat. Breezer's escaped a little bit here. Tommy is, I was going to say close behind. They're not actually as close as I thought they were, so we're going to go back with these guys. Sorry for skipping through. Now, Waldo's looking for another punch off the ERS, but they're really draining it out quite a lot here. And they're not going to be able to do that again. So that was their last chance, and maybe not the best thing to do. They had a great opportunity with the RS. They'll get it on the end of this lap as long as they stay with the Aston. Go for another fastest lap as Breezer, and the RS will be available this lap. So Waldo's going to be helped here, and he'll be able to save a bit more ERS. 5-second time on the C for Reese, speeding into the pit lane, and he goes to service drive-through. So more problems there for Reese. Alrighty, on the exit here, DRS available. Not going to be close enough to make a move, but they will be able to close that gap down. And have a look. Balint's going to be under a bit of pressure here. Of course, we've got the very, very long straight from turns 10 to 13. And then we'll get the second DRS straight. And wherever you are, if you're ahead or behind by the time you get to turn 13, the driver behind originally will get the double DRS. Waldo seems to be pushing quite aggressively right now. Onto the inside they go. Balance ahead, so he had the corner. Waldo crosses it, cuts the corner, and gets himself a time penalty. So very naughty there for Waldo. That loses Balint time, and it could lose him another position if he's not careful. But, yeah, Waldo shouldn't have done that, really. He cut the corner and got himself a time penalty for it. Don't know if he'll get any more further penalties for that, or if that would be it, because he just got the time penalty. But that will be his. He's not going to be able to get that removed. Balint had the corner. It's an interesting risk that he took, because he would have got that double DRS, of course. Now, that does put Waldo just up ahead. Balint needs to try and push for a bit of DRS here. He almost had it, but I think he might just about lose it. Yep, they do. Actually, no, because the DRS is a bit earlier on, so they might have done enough here. We'll watch on board. Is that light going to come on? You hear the noise? Yes, he did. He did do enough. So very, very well done for Balint, and he's going to be able to close that gap up nicely. Bring everyone along with him as well. He's got the whole pack behind him, and they're going to be chasing down Waldo. So we currently have Breezer leading the race on his own. Reese at the back of the race just trying to put the laps in and get up to speed. And then the rest of the field are all together in a train here. Now, Reese, I want to have a quick look at times. The Tommy gun has gone and set a fastest sector there. Reese was fastest earlier on. He's just had a couple issues with the pit stops. So hopefully he can get back into the rhythm and put some more quick laps in. He was very, very rapid earlier on, had the outright pace out of everyone. So we'll see if he can demonstrate it as we go on into the Grand Prix. Breezer leads the way, and that's his teammate out of the Grand Prix, making a mistake on the exit turn 9, and there we go. Another safety car, and Reese is back in the game. Wallow a 5-second time penalty for collision with Larlet there. Not entirely sure what happened there. I know it's pretty tricky around here at Canada. That is on the right-hand side? Left-hand side, so they've lost the car on the rear, and yeah, easily done. Not nice at all. I don't know if that was side-by-side with anybody, but that is what it is. Breezer stays out, everyone else pits. Maybe that wasn't the best idea, I don't quite know. The good thing is that Breezer won't have to make, well, he'll only have to make one more pit stop. Everybody else is probably... Actually, I say that. No, they could go to the end on a set of mediums. But did Breezer start? No, he didn't. Everybody can go to the end on a fresh set of mediums if they have a fresh set of mediums. It's just not going to be too easy, but it's still very possible. Looks like a couple of drivers have had to fit on some already used medium tyres. And we have Balint onto the hard tyre. Countless times we've seen Balint opt for that hard tyre to go to the end of the races. We'll see if it works for him. He's usually a very consistent point scorer in all of our championships, really, that he competes in. Alrighty, so Breeza leads the way on a set of medium tyres. He's going to be able to go on to a set of softs later on, but I think he's probably going to have to make a pit stop with 9-lap-old tyres. Is he going to go into the pits right now? No, he'll stay out. Doesn't have any time penalties. Balint neither. He does have the hard tyres on. Larlock can go to the end of the Grand Prix here on these tyres. They just have a little bit of extra wear in. And then we, of course, have Waldo in a similar situation. Waldo's got a fresh set of tyres, so he's in an absolute golden situation. And Reese as well. Not too bad of a situation either. They've got probably just about enough laps on their tyres to deem it a very, very possible situation to go to the end of the Grand Prix. So Waldo and Reese here are going to have a very nice rest of the race. They can carry on. And, of course, Balint's not going to have to go into the pit lane again. Although Larlock should be able to get there, but Breezer's going to be in a bit of a different situation. Unless they can manage those tyres, they'll have to go for a set of softs a bit later on, which might not be the worst situation. They can go and push for a fastest lap, and they can also try and cut their way through the field. So they're going to try and make the big enough gap as they possibly can. And yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one for Breezer here. Now, this time, Breezer leads the way in Balance in second place on the hard tyre. So his exit's going to have to be crucial here if he wants to defend from the rest of the cars. Probably going to have to forget attacking Breezer up ahead. When will Breezer go for it? The safety car is just about going into the pit lane now, so he can go for it any time from now. He's gaining up the speed, and he's gone for it. Lovely stuff. Pretty much the same place that Balint went for it. Balint makes a bit of a mistake, a bit of understeer there for the Aston. Will that allow Larlock to get a good run? Is he going to try and go for a move into turn one? No, he's not. He's just going to have to slot him behind. But a very, very nice restart from Breezer. He escapes nicely. And that is how it's gone. Wallow also lost the position to Reese, and Reese making those moves as he needs to. So great to see him in the fight for the first time. Hopefully he can make some more moves and get some good points here. On exit, these are cars up ahead, trying to spot those positions, or opportunities I should say. Got the trio up ahead, and then Breezer slightly escaping now. Going to be a bit of a headache here for Reese, but he's not going to have to go in again. He does have a time penalty. I think it's only a 3-second. We'll have a quick look at the time penalty situation. Yes, it is. Only a 3-second for him and Mr. Waldo. So that isn't the worst. It's not ideal, of course, but with Breezer having to make another pit stop, if Reese can get through here, unfortunately making another mistake and getting another 3-second, he might have been able to win the Grand Prix. If he does want to win the Grand Prix now, he has to escape sooner rather than later, and that is a very interesting situation. Didn't quite see what happened there, but that was a bit of contact between Waldo and Larlock, and that's Waldo off. He drives the wrong way and gets himself disqualified, unfortunately, trying to spin the car back round, and that is Waldo out of the Grand Prix. That would be just investigated later on, but that is a very, very interesting situation. I'd like to see the replay on it because I didn't quite see who was where on the circuit, who was side by side or not, but we'll have to look at that one after, unfortunately. Not the best way to end the race, but yeah, we'll have to look at it later on. Nothing we can do now. Reese in P4, now the only one with time penalty. He's got a 6-second time penalty. So it's going to be quite a struggle later on, but he still has some decent pace. One car less in between him and the race leader. So he just needs to secure a good exit, and he could get a move on Larlock. He was looking pretty pacey on the exits a minute ago. But in a DRS train, it might not be so easy. You've got about half a battery in the car right now. Larlock is just there. He's got just over half a battery and balance more or less the same. So right there. Yeah, sorry for that, Waldo. Oh, that's Reese. Go for a move. Onto the inside, into turn 8 and 9. Lovely stuff. Has the advantage on the inside line. Larlick tried to fight it back, but I think that was Reese's corner. He gets through, and now he's going to have a nice run at Balin. The Haas is pretty close and makes a mistake. Pushes Larlick off the circuit, and he's going to have to let that one go. He does let him back ahead. So, going to lose some time, unfortunately. Does he get the DRS? Yes, he does. That's not what he wants, of course. Onto the inside line, side by side. Reese makes the move early on. He's going to get DRS again, and that was what you want to see. That was a lovely move there. Well done indeed. 3 seconds for Larlick, unfortunately. Making a mistake after that issue. Yeah, sorry, Waldo, for that. If you report it, we'll look at it afterwards. Just use the reports in the reports section, which I haven't sent out, so I'll send the reports out later on, and I'll DM you them so you can make the report. I do apologise for that, and we'll investigate it. Alrighty, so Reese is now right there. 2.1 seconds is the gap behind Breezer, so lovely stuff for the Mercedes, making those moves. Breezers might have to rethink his situation with the tyres. He might have to start saving and going to try and go to the end of the Grand Prix. I know the tyres can go about 20 laps. It's currently on, let's have a quick look, 14 laps. So they could, yeah, you could push them. You could push them further. It's just really not going to be easy. He's gonna be on. Let's see, 23. So he's going to be on, if I'm right, 28 lap-old tyres. No, he's having to go to the pit lane. He's having to go to the pit lane for that one. That is not a good situation to be in. He's going to be around about 16 seconds behind Breezer, maybe a little bit more. No, behind Reese, I should say. That's if Reese catches up and makes the move or not. I don't quite know. But he's going to be able to go onto the soft tyre. He's got a couple more laps until he's going to go for that pit stop, I'd assume. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think the optimal range for a soft tyre is 8 laps. You could do 10 or 12. No problem. It's just whatever he prefers in this situation. I think he's probably going to wait for probably lap 25, I'd assume, and then go for a set of softs and try and catch up. He will have to make, so that's going to be about 8. No, what am I doing? What am I saying? 1.6 seconds a lap. There you go. 1.6 seconds a lap to catch up to Breezer. And maybe even more, actually, because he needs a couple of opportunities to overtake. And I don't mean Breezer, I mean Reese. Although Reese has those 6-second time penalties, so that's actually less. That's more like 1 second a lap. So that's not impossible. It's not easy, but it's not impossible, as long as Reese's tyres are slow enough. Alrighty. Reese almost in DRS range. We're going to look back with these guys now as Balint on that hard tyre. They aren't the fastest of tyre to be on. Larlock's got through, and Wallow's going to be there soon. He's going to be in DRS range. He's just going to hope that Larlock escapes DRS range sooner rather than later and makes it a bit easier on him. Of course, Wallow's not going to have to make another pit stop. But he still needs a nice dose of DRS. But with Larlock and Balint still fighting up ahead, it's just going to be super difficult for him to be in any position to get near. He's got to make sure he gets that 10th down in the first sector, get that DRS, and just hope Larlock pulls away. Pushing now, but Balint's holding on. 12 lap of medium tyres. So they're not the best tyres in the world for Larlock, and Balint might be able to catch here. Even if he doesn't catch and make the move, he's going to be good to go. And he will be getting the advantage on time penalties. I believe that's a 3 second for Larlock there. Looking with these guys now. Did Reese get DRS there? Did he get it? Let's go across the DRS line. There we go. Lovely stuff. That's what we like to see. DRS, as I have for some reason called it. Reese gets the DRS. He's going to be able to catch his Breeder going to go into the pit. They know they're going to stay out. They are going to stay out. They've got no ERS left in the car. Neither has Reese. So it's going to be purely up to DRS and straight line speed. Reese goes and gets a fast lap, so he's absolutely rapid in the car right now. Gets the advantage, of course, with that DRS. Maybe he might even go for another one here on this lap, because he's going to get even more DRS. Gets another time penalty, unfortunately, so that's a 9-second time penalty. And with this situation, he's going to have to be careful of the cars behind, and Breezer makes a mistake, and that's re-through. Easily done. Lovely indeed. Now, Breezer, surely this calls for a pit stop now. He's surely going to have to go for a pit stop. His tyres are dead. You can see it. And I reckon if he stays out, Reese is going to just run away with it, even with a 9-second time penalty. Larlock should, in theory, be able to get to the end here. They're still going to be pretty tricky. And Balint could put these guys under threat. Reese has to get a move on, though. He's got that 9-second time penalty. He has to be absolutely rapid and get almost a second. Just under a second a lap on everybody behind. Reese is not going to go into the pit lane. He's staying out. Okay, so we saw this in Hungary, and he managed to stay out for a long time. He actually did what I didn't think was possible. So he made it work nicely. He does seem to be a driver that can handle the tyres pretty well. Is he going to be able to handle them enough this time? Although, unfortunately, getting a 3-second time penalty, trying to catch up to Balint, they haven't been able to do it. And they pushed the limits a little bit too far. That's what you've got to do if you want to go quite fast. Breezer not losing a massive amount of time, but the stakes was an interesting one. Breezer's able to get through easily, and there's no DRS going to be coming into play. So with the amount of time that he's losing, which is hardly anything, at this stage of the race, Breezer's possibly going to make a good call. Of course, he has the time penalty for Larlock to account for, so that is a bit of an advantage. It's just Balint that he's worried about time penalty-wise. Wallow into the pit lane, so he's going to be going for maybe a fresh wing, I don't quite know. Rather watch on board. Yes, he will. And onto the soft tyre, so he's going to be pacey. And just try and get it to the end of the Grand Prix. He'll score a lovely 10 points as well, as long as he finishes this race. He's just got a 3-second. I said he was safe. Not anymore. He is not safe anymore. And that's all of a sudden gave Reese an absolute boost. A massive boost there. Let's see the time penalties now, shall we? I think we already know what they are. 9 seconds. That's a 6-second difference between Reese and Breezer. So now, Reese only has to make a 6-second gap I say only, it's still quite a big difference, but Breeze's tyres are only going to get worse. Breeze's tyres are going to get worse, but they're still within the pit window, I guess you could call it. The operating distance, maybe, you could say. So he should be good to go, and that's actually a bit of a pain in the arse for Breezer. He still needs to make sure he does it. Side by side here with these two. Balint to the inside line. Larlock on the outside has the advantage with the traction. Now to the inside. Can Balint go for a switchback? No, he can't. He's going to have to let it go. But he will get DRS very, very shortly. Oh, mistake there for Balint. And he's now going to have to get a time penalty. Everybody are at least on a 3-second or more. So that does give now Breezer a bit more of an advantage. Although he was quite far ahead anyway, so it probably wasn't a worry of his. That does now mean that Larlock is willing to fight for position, which is a lot easier when you think about it. He doesn't have to push a massive amount and cause himself to crash by trying to escape from Balint. All a little bit mixed up now, as we do see Balint go for the inside line. Going to make the move onto the Alpine and have the advantage. Get the second dose of DRS onto the start-finish straight and get a bit of a gap here. Maybe Larlock will be able to get back through. These guys are going to be touring it with each other, and they're going to have to play it smart. Whoever goes for the move last will probably take the win. They've still got a couple more laps to go. The closing stage of the Grand Prix are upon us. Looking back with these guys, Reese is leading the way. He needs to get a bit more time on his hands. He's got about 5.5 laps left remaining. A fastest lap there for Wallow. Lovely stuff. That'll be some more points for him. Fastest man on circuit right now. And Reese is 2.7 seconds there. So he's about halfway there. And I'm just trying to see when did Breezer make that mistake? Was it 4 laps ago? 3 laps ago? So, in theory, Reese could be on target to win here. He could be on target to win here. He still will need to extend a bit more. But like I said, Breeze's tyres are only going to get worse. They were going to get to the... I don't know, actually. So 20 laps, you're going to start to get to the 40% range, I think. And then 50% range will be not too far away. So he's going to be on pretty old tyres. Let's have a quick look at those tyres. 23 old tyres. So he's going to be reaching the 60% zone. 50% is where it gets very, very slippy. Actually, I'd say probably 30% is where it gets slippy. 50 is when it gets extremely slippy. And 60% is when it gets very, very understeery. And it's not easy to drive at all. So, losing more time as we speak. It's kind of compounding on itself. A 3.2 second gap now. Which is either going to hope Breezer gets another time penalty by trying to push, or he's just going to get another 3 second gap. And with the situation that we have right now, it's looking decent. We might actually have to watch Breezer here and see if he gets a puncture, because he's pushing the limits. He's going to have to ease it home here. Not going to be the most easy situation to be in. He can still win the race. He's just got to calculate it. He's got to calculate it to perfection here. That 32 to 35. Maybe I correct myself here. Reese is starting to lose time to extend, I should say. Not time to Breezer, but time to extend that gap. Looking at the ERS, Breezer doesn't really have anything left. Reese neither, but he does seem to be pretty rapid in a straight line. I should say so. So he's gaining nicely. He's gaining a lot of time in a straight line. And you can kind of expect that with worn tyres. You'll be able to get on the traction a lot earlier and a lot easier. So 3.7 second gap. He's gaining massively on the exits of corners, that's what it is. The acceleration is the benefit for Reese here. Both drivers running out of ERS, so it's just about pure pace here. They just need to focus and not touch that ERS button for the rest of the Grand Prix. It's 3.6 seconds instead of 3.1. So he's gained about 6 tenths. 6 tenths. Oh, that's going to be tight. That's going to be tight. The pressure will be on for both drivers, so it's whether either one makes a mistake. 4 seconds now. All Reese needs is a 2-second gap, and making a mistake like that for Breezer is not going to help at all. Not ideal as... that's painful stuff to see for Breezer with the tyres. Having a look at this battle for the final time as Balint will escape from Lalek. Lalek on those old tyres, they're pretty much dead now. They're not really going to go any further, and Balint will have the advantage. So he's only going to be quicker compared to Lalek, and he might be quick enough to catch up the Breezer, but it's going to be very, very difficult to do so. Wallow on the fastest lap, unfortunately, just had a bit of a moment. Doesn't look like he's got damage. He might still have some, but right now he's got away with it, and he can still finish this race and score those points. Reese leads the way, 4.6 seconds now. So he's gaining like an absolute madman. It could be enough here. It's looking pretty good, but he has to gain more. He has to gain more. If he wants to get it, he needs to get a 5-second zone into turn 9, I'm going to say, maybe 10. It looks like he's going to go for it. It looks like he's going to go for it. You get the exit here. He's got the speed in that car. He's going to get it. Lovely, lovely stuff indeed. And into turn 10. Just keep it smooth. He's now got 8 tenths. That's all he needs. He was making, I was saying, about 6 tenths a lap. So if he can gain another 3 tenths here, he should be able to just about win the Grand Prix. It's going to be extremely tight, according to my calculations, but in the final corner, is he going to gain 2 tenths? On the exit, no. He's actually dead on 2 tenths there, but doesn't gain that enough. He gains 1 tenth, almost enough. So it's going to be extremely tight here. Breeze is going to push as much as he possibly can, but we're going to watch on board for the final lap with Reese. Let's get it. Let's see what's going to happen. Who's going to win here? It goes from turn 3 into 4. Round to 5 now. Can gain a lot of time here if you keep it tight to the right. They do so. The car's dead. But the race is not. 5.5 seconds. Half a tenth in it, and he can win this Grand Prix. Half a tenth in it. Into turns 9. 8 and 9. Pretty tidy there. 5.6, another tenth, almost a 5.7. It's so close. It's gonna be so tight. 5.7, 3 tenths into the final chicane now. He's gonna get the traction. He has the advantage here, as we saw. He has a mega advantage. 7 tenths now. Is he going to make it 8? No! There's a yellow! There's a yellow! No way! What's just happened? No way! Is he disconnected from the race? Has he run out of fuel? Has he just run out of fuel? Oh, no! Reese runs out of fuel in the final few corners, and Breezer is going to win the Canadian Grand Prix. What a shock in the end. Well done to him. And Balint's got it. Balint's got it. What just happened? 0.043 seconds and Balint's won the Grand Prix. I didn't expect that at all. I wasn't watching the time penalties enough. Balint's just won the Grand Prix. Breezer P2 and Reese after all that down to P3. Lalek, and then we have Wallow going to take it in P5. What an ending to the Grand Prix. I don't know what just happened. I don't know what just happened. Oh my god. Oh my god. What just happened? I feel so sorry for Reese and Breezer as well, but I can't hide my happiness for Balint there. That was an amazing situation. You did run out of fuel. Oh, that's so painful. It's so painful. You would have had it. No way did that just happen in the end. Wow, that is cruel. That is cruel. Balintno wins the Grand Prix. Breeze at P2 and Reese in P3. Larlick in P4 and finishing off the order with Wallow with a fastest lap. DNFing was Tommy Finn and Mr. Waldo earlier on in the Grand Prix. Now we look at the rest of the race director just in case we need to check any issues later on. But other than that, we'll be back for the PlayStation interviews. We'll see you in a bit. Might not get anybody to interview, but we will say a few words anyway. See you in a minute. Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI Summer Season. We're today for the post-race interviews of the Canadian Grand Prix. What a race we just had. That was absolutely mental in the ending. It does turn out, I'm pretty sure, that Breezer did win the Grand Prix. It was just a bit of desync because they left the session earlier on and enjoyed it. So it's not their fault in the end. We'll have to investigate and see what actually happened. But yeah, that was a heck of a race. We start the interviews with Reese. Reese, what a roller coaster of a ride you just had. You start at the back of the grid and you had nothing to lose, everything to gain. Issues with the pit lane and under the safety cars was the Delta, and you almost won the Grand Prix. What happened?
The usual. I ignored the Delta under the safety car, so I got a penalty. Went to serve my penalty, and they changed my tyres. So then I had to pit again, so I was then... And I also pitted just before it went dry for another set of inters because I had wing damage. So I did 4 stops, I think. So I was 3 stops down on everyone else with a drive-through. Still managed to finish first, but obviously not get the P1.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good race. I was pushing hard.
Did you underfuel the car before the race started? Is that why you lost out?
Yes, because it was wet.
Okay.
So I was expecting it. It said wet the whole time on the mat on the strategy. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just underfuel like crazy because you don't use anywhere near as much fuel. And then yeah, it dried up pretty quick, and I was starting to worry. But then the safety car came out. I saved a bit of fuel, and then I obviously started draining through it again as I was pushing.
Yeah, that's nasty. That's really hard to lose a win like that. I do apologise. It was looking so good, and it would be really nice to see it that way, but it is what it is. The next race, it is going to be in the F1 2022 game. Are you looking forward to the F1 22 game, and are you looking forward to Abu Dhabi with the new track changes?
I am, but I'm at Silverstone, so I don't think I'm able to race. Because I'm going to be
after
there.
Silverstone. It is the 8th of July. It's the week after.
Oh, it's the 8th. Oh, okay.
There's a 2-week break
I'll be there then.
On, so yeah.
Yeah, that is I will be there then. Yeah, and last year I seemed to adapt to the newer cars in the game pretty quick. That's why I claimed 2 out of 3 wins in the first 3 races. So hopefully I can do the same this game and get a few wins under the belt.
Yeah, that would be awesome to see. Finally, a bit of redemption as well. Yeah. Well, other than that, I can't really say much more, but well done today. Great effort. One last question. How do you describe your race in 3 words?
Rain decided to stop. Wait, that's 4. I don't know.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Cheers.
And we move on to the fastest man alive, Wallow. Well done today. You scored points, and you do get a fastest lap, so an extra one there. Are you happy with that race? You were looking pretty pacey this weekend.
It was wet. I've never driven the wet before.
Yeah.
Qualifying was alright, and then I realised I should have got a wet setup.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, I don't know who told you that, but yeah. Well done. You did a very good job. I have to say, a lot of progress has been made, and you were looking very quick throughout the race. You had some nice battles as well. And a fastest lap. Yeah. It's just a shame it ended that way, but you still managed to secure that fastest lap and 11 points there in the feature race.
Yeah, ended up getting wing damage for about 5 laps. I didn't realise. Lost some time. Went into the pits to get softs to go for fastest lap, and they gave me a new wing. So.
Okay, fair enough. Are you just too fast for the car? It couldn't handle you.
Exactly. So it ended up hitting a wall to slow me down.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a shame. The next one, F1 2022, are you looking forward to that? Do you think maybe the more understeery cars would suit your driving style? I say understeer, it might be understeer.
Smash it.
Pardon?
I'm insane here, so new game should be
easy.
Top notch.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today, really good job. One last question, how would you describe your race in 3 words?
Damage, fastest lap.
Thank you very much. I will see you next time. Well done today. And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much. That's been it for F1 2021. We'll see you in about 2 weeks' time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in the F1 2022 game. It's been a pleasure, and we will see you on Tuesday. See you next Tuesday. Thank you very much, and good night.